En el episodio número 43 regreso a lo básico con un extraordinario hombre del negocio de la música. Andrew Loog Oldham y yo repasamos viejas anécdotas sobre los Rolling Stones, incluyendo aquella famosa historia en la que Lennon y McCartney, un poco videntes y ebrios, se bajan de un taxi y se encuentran con Oldham, quien los lleva al estudio de los Stones donde escriben y graban el primer gran éxito de Jagger, Richards y compañía. Con Andy converso también sobre el estado actual del pop, sobre Ed Sheeran, sus opiniones sobre Kanye West, la razón por la que se quedó en Colombia, su superación de la drogadicción y el secreto para mantenerse siempre joven. Andrew Loog Oldham es mi invitado muy especial a vivir una conversación que bien puede ser simplemente 6 grados de separación de la historia del rock and roll. En el episodio número 43 de El Podcast por Canal 13.
May I say, to begin the conversation, that you're looking like $1 million?
Oh, 1.5, por favor. Huh?
1.5.
Gracias, thank you.
How do you pull it off?
Practice.
What do you practice? I mean, what do you do?
Okay. ¿Y quiere todo eso en inglés o?
Inglés, español,
Okay.
como quiera.
Yo finito con la vida oscura.
¿La vida oscura?
Hasta yo soy 53 años, ¿no? Y yo tengo fe que es necesito que tú es excesivo con las cosas bien, en la misma forma que tú es excesivo con las cosas que eventually son mal.
Sí.
Yo conozco, por ejemplo, un ejemplo, el manager de Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, Peter Grant.
Sí.
Yeah, what about him?
El finito con el mundo oscuro, pero no moviendo el cuerpo. Es en un silla, en un castillo, en Inglaterra, no moviendo por 5 años y el corazón diga, no, me no gusta esto, chao.
What was he into? Was he like into alcohol and was he into booze and cigarettes, or was it anything else?
Food.
Oh, he was.
Food, drugs, heroin, violencia.
He was pretty violent, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, esto was la descripción del trabajo. Esto es el tiempo cuando hay mucha violencia con los Led Zeppelin son el primer grupo que ha abierto el mundo de estadios, básicamente, ¿no? Los Stones, es una competición, ¿no? No, es los Beatles en Shea Stadium. No, es más tarde, a fin de los 70s. No, es fin de los 60s. But es un tiempo muy violento. Y Peter Grant comenzó su vida as un extra de películas. He was an extra con un toga y sandals en Cleopatra.
Ah, sí?
Sí.
Yo pensé que era un bouncer.
Sí, then un bouncer.
Ah, ok.
Pero comenzó con mini falda en el tiempo de Roma, en Cleopatra con Richard Burton y Elizabeth Taylor.
¿Y cómo llegó a ser manager de los Led Zeppelin?
Sí.
How?
Yo trabajo con el padre de Sharon Osbourne, que es un promotor, Don Arden, el manager de Electric Light Orchestra, pero también es un gran promotor de los premios visitantes a Inglaterra, de los gringos, like Eddie Cochran, Buddy Holly, Little Richard, y Sam Cooke, y todo esto. Y sí, un bouncer, man.
Sí.
Y maneja el camión. Y dentro trabajo con Mickey Most, con los Yardbirds. Porque
Claro.
los Yardbirds son más o menos,
Los
con
Led
el
Zeppelin.
infinito con todos los guitarristas, es Led Zeppelin, básicamente.
Claro.
Sin John Paul Jones. No.
Sí. ¿Por qué era violento? ¿Por qué era violenta esa época del rock and roll?
Drugs.
It was because of the drugs.
Sí.
Okay.
Es simple.
Porque when you read the biography, when you read the bio,
Sí.
you feel like he didn't have a really good childhood now. did
Oh,
he?
so what? No importa. En este mundo, desafortunadamente los chicos y las chicas a los 15 años dicen, posible es la realidad, pero no importa. Es necesito que tú tienes un problema y regreso en the ring.
Yeah.
¿Qué es el ring
El cuadrilátero.
Exacto.
Yeah. Sí.
Y va por un otro,
Yeah.
capítulo.
Are you still living in Apolo or?
Las dos, Apolo,
Sí, las dos.
Bogotá y Vancouver.
Sí. A mí me preguntaban en estos días, I don't know who it was. Oh, yeah, un promotor de discos me decía, Andrew Loog Oldham sigue por aquí.
Sí.
Le decía, sí, claro, Andrew Loog Oldham se quedó aquí. Why'd you decide to stay? ¿Por qué se quedó?
Fan.
La señora.
Sí.
¿Cuándo la conoció?
En noviembre de 74.
¿Dónde?
En Londres. Un teatro con una comedia. El nombre de la comedia es John, Paul, George, Ringo y Bert. So la idea es un extra, Bert, en los Beatles, ¿ok? Yo no recuerdo nada de la cosa en el teatro, ¿no? Yo solo conozco la cuero, ¿sí?
Sí.
La cuero de este fan. Es enfrente de mí, aquí a la izquierda. Y esto es... no, si yo hablo de esto, el hermano goes otra vez, ¿sí? Y esto... So, chao, John, Paul, George, Ringo y Bert. Y hola, este fan. Y eventualmente, hasta un año, Colombia.
¿Ah, sí?
Sí.
Eso fue... That was right at the very big explosion of the Rolling Stones. Eso fue... Like 74?
En mi tiempo no es una explosión. ¿Ah?
It was, yeah, definitely. It was, pero... No, por supuesto.
Una vez en los 80s, cuando todo es en la vida oscuro, yo soy con el baterista de los Rolling Stones, Charlie, ¿ok? Y él diga a mí, Andrew, no hay un cambio, solo los zeros y los drogas.
Ok. El baterista de los Rolling
Sí.
Stones. En los 80.
Sí.
Dijo eso. Cuénteme esa historia de los Beatles y los Rolling Stones. I want you to tell me that story again. Porque esa sí que es una
Which one?
fascinante
Which
historia.
one? ¿Qué?
Cuando grabaron la primera canción.
La segunda canción, sí.
La segunda canción.
Ok, el primer disco es finito, va a 18 o 30 en la hit parade, ¿no? Y en un rehearsal, ¿no? Y va todas las posibilidades por el sencillo número 2, ¿no? No, es terrible, man. Y yo gusto mucho una canción de un negro de Filadelfia que se llama James Ray. Y tiene una canción con tuba y el ritmo es fascinante. Es más New Orleans de Filadelfia. Called If You Gotta Make a Fool of Somebody. And I'm going to the Rolling Stones. ¿Posible esto? And then Ian Stewart, diga a mí, Andrew, no, este es la próxima disco de Freddie and the Dreamers.
Oh.
Oh, bueno, no, man, chao. So, en los momentos de trabajo, cuando la energía es no bien, yo se fue. Porque que tu energía no es bien parte de la... I said, okay. So, yo voy en la calle, cerca a Leicester Square. Yo voy a la derecha y en la esquina de monte, de get out of un taxi, John y Paul, ¿no? Y
What time is it? ¿Qué hora es?
let me see. 3, 4 de la tarde. Ay, sí, 3, 4 de la tarde, porque los dos tipos vienen from un gran muestro celebración, la primera vez un premio por las canciones. Hay un escritor en Inglaterra, Ivan Novello, y más o menos es con los Grammys de
En
las
Estados
canciones en Inglaterra.
Right.
¿Sí? Ivan Novello was un composer, right? Y porque los tragos son libres, John and Paul son un poco clairvoyant,
Okay.
you know? And they diga, Andy, ¿qué es el problema? Le miro a mi cara y conozco inmediatamente. Porque yo trabajo, tú sabes, por 4 meses en la comenzada de 63 con ellos. So, we conozco, ¿no? No tengo canción, man. Le dos, no problem. No hay problema. ¿Dónde está el grupo? I said, allá en el basement.
El sótano.
De un club de jazz que es posible rehearse en el día. Ok, de viene y toca en frente del grupo, porque es una ilusión que es una competition. En el mundo es los Beatles.
¿Y los Rolling Stones?
No, y en todos los otros.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, es los Beatles, and then, ¿qué tú prefieres? Like los Rolling Stones, The Who, The Kinks, The Hollies, todo es en un otro tren. Yo no hablo mal del otro tren, pero esto es la realidad. ¿Por qué? Porque en octubre de 62,
Yeah.
¿sí? Cuando el primer sencillo de los Beatles, Love Me Do, es en el mercado, ¿no? En Inglaterra, que los Beatles en toda la vida toca en un concierto, un club, un bordello, no sé, Alemania, porque Alemania es un gran bordello, ¿no?
Yeah.
En estos tiempos, los clubs en Hamburg y todo esto, ¿no? Que los Beatles tocan en toda la vida 1000 veces. 500 es atrás de octubre
Del 63.
2,
Okay.
con el primer sencillo, Love Me Do.
Right.
So, from Love Me Do, only un otro 500. So, la gente que dice, ¿por qué los Beatles finito en 66? Porque de trabajo en 61, 62, en los baños de Europa. ¿Ah?
Claro.
So, y tú sabes, es el fenómeno de las formas de grabación cambio. Arriba en 77, 8 tracks. Then it is posible errores. Y discos más grandes, más ambicioso y todo.
Claro.
¿No? Ay, yo tengo esta idea. Yo tengo 3 perros caminar aquí. No es posible. Porque en 4 canales y 2 canales no es posible errores. So it cambió el futuro de now laptops. Y so en el club, John and Paul toca I Wanna Be Your Man. Y en el momento yo escuché Brian Jones with the steel guitar, I went, un éxito. Y yo no conozco la palabra, no cafiche, but what is hustler en español?
Uy, un apostador, un gambler, un hustler, es un poco como qué. Sí.
¿Un cafiche? No.
Sí.
Sí, más o menos.
Sí,
Okay,
sí.
John and Paul son estos.
Hustlers.
Hustlers. Por chiquitas cosas, en estas épocas tú quieres gustar tu nombre as la gente que escribe las canciones en un disco. Wow, ok, no necesito trabajo en las minas, ¿no? No necesito trabajo por el hombre. We tiene un mundo diferente, ¿no? And so they were hustlers. Que en el día que le toca la canción por los Rolling Stones, they no diga que la realidad es 10 días atrás de grabar la canción con Ringo.
Ok, la tenían lista.
Sí. But en frente de los Stones, they act. They pretend. ¿Qué es pretend?
Se pretenden. Ellos,
Sí, que, sí, no, posible finito con esto. Sí, no, John, posible un day.
Ok.
Sí, bien. Okay? Bien.
They play the Stones into believing
Sí.
that they're actually making the song
In
for
front.
the
Sí, we haven't quite finished. Now we finito, posible la puenta no es finito. Un poco, sí, ok, bien. So, eso es lo mágico de la música, ¿no?
So, los Beatles hacen la segunda canción para
Sí.
los Rolling Stones.
Sí, exacto. So, yo vaya, ay, qué bien. Yo tengo el premio de mi breakdown nerviosos, ¿no? Y yo voy a París y compro zapatos en Pierre Cardin por botas que 46 libras, que es muy caro en este tiempo, ¿no? Pero solo botas por la casa, no es posible por la calle.
But back in those days, did you have to pay to get played on the radio?
No, but we did. The government was a mafia. Okay, they controlled the music, and they wanted because the radio was part of the government. They didn't like the idea of rock and roll, so they tried to force on the young people in the nation skiffle.
Yeah.
And skiffle was interesting because it was not you didn't need money to be a skiffle group. You needed to borrow what is it called? Well, anyway, it's a thing in the laundry for drying the clothes. Mm-hmm. And that was the rhythm.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the big box. With
Exactly.
Sí, claro.
You know, and that was you took it from your mother's washing.
Yeah.
This was an early drying machine. The clothes would be rubbed over this. Then you had the tea chest, which used to hold tea, a big caja in madero, no?
Yeah.
And you would take the top of a broomstick from cleaning the house, you would put it on top of the wood, attach string here, put it in the center of the tea chest.
It would work as a bass.
Double bass.
Okay. All right, cool.
See, then there was a little money for a little guitar, but not electric. And then just had to pretend you were black and sing the songs from the south of North America.
Yeah.
So skiffle, then trad jazz, which was white people trying to play like Louis Armstrong, that type of New Orleans jazz.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is what the government wanted. So on the pop television shows, skiffle came, Lonnie Donegan broke thing. But most of British rock and roll was copying white American rock and roll. So little boys with hair like this and little crucifixes and American accents.
Yeah.
And that was life until the Beatles.
Wow. That was crazy. But
It's better than getting a job in a factory.
definitely.
Okay?
Yeah. But how'd you pull it off? How'd you get the Stones into the charts? If the radio,
Oh,
and
yeah, there
if,
was-
if the
yeah,
government didn't let you participate in the creation of new phenomenons because they just didn't comply with the rules and the rule of law.
Yeah, exactly.
How'd you pull it off?
Well, the record shops were interesting. Like, one of the reasons Brian Epstein got a recording deal for the Beatles is because in his mother and father's furniture shop, in the corner on the ground floor, they sold records. So the Beatles, nobody liked the Beatles in the record companies. They
Why not?
wanted Frank Sinatra, the good, I mean, that. I like Frank Sinatra too. Or Mantovani, Andre Rui, whatever his name is, Cuatro Noches in Bogota.
That's crazy, isn't
Crazy,
it?
yeah, crazy, really. Okay. But they probably serve drinks and cheese, and everybody's happy.
Probably.
As long as there's no Placido Domingo, todo es bien. But anyway, so Brian Epstein, they sold records. And just to give you the vision of like the skiffle in that time, they were not scared of thieves taking the records. So they let you go into a booth, like a telephone booth, with the record, play it, and if you liked it, you bought it, right? So probably EMI sold, 400 records a month to the shop that Brian Epstein's parents owned. And that's how they got a recording contract. And they they put them on a division of EMI, but they put them on the comedy label. Like they put them on the same label that would have Jimmy Salcedo.
Okay.
You know, if Jimmy Salcedo was singing American pop songs, the British comedians were on that label. And George Martin, his first hit, 2 hits, was with, this is why I'm answering the question of how did I do it.
Yeah.
You just have to be in the right place at the right time and not be stupid and think you created the right place. Just recognize it, okay? So George Martin's first 2 hits were comedy records with, one comedy, Sophia Loren and Peter Sellers.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm here for you. Okay. And it was the theme from a film with Peter Sellers and Sophia Loren called Goodness Gracious Me. And Peter Sellers was an Indian doctor, not an Indian from here, an Indian from India. No. And his other hit, in the 1950s, there was a television show called Robin Hood. Like the películas con Kevin Costner y Russell Crowe y todo esto, ¿no? But it was on television every week, Robin Hood. And in that time, the people who were socialists or nearly communists and could not work in Hollywood, they came to England. So a guy who's a socialist goes, oh, Robin Hood, it's for the good of the people. Let's write a television show. So there's Robin Hood. Okay. This man who sings the theme, the musical theme, is called Dick James. And in 1953 or 54, he had a hit with Robin Hood, writing, and I can remember it, it's so bad. Okay? And it was produced by George Martin. So when George Martin gets the Beatles, and EMI is not interested in, it's like hula hoops or Davy Crockett hats. They'll be gone in 5 minutes, right? I mean, Ringo's ambition, he said, if I can make the money to buy my wife a hairdressing salon, I'll be happy.
Okay.
Okay? He could buy all the hairdressing salons in Bogota and not even feel it, I mean, so George Martin thought, I know where I'll take Brian and the Beatles, to my friend, Dick James, because he only had 1 hit with Robin Hood, and now he's trying to be a music publisher, and that's how the Beatles songs went to Dick James.
Wow.
And then later Elton John, and then now you can see the film Rocket Man and see what a terrible man he was.
Did you like it?
Like what?
The movie?
I don't want to see it.
Oh.
No, I haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody. I haven't seen A Star Is Born. I haven't seen. I don't believe in the last one. There was a documentary on Oasis, and if the 2 brothers are the executive producers, you're in trouble. And look, unless you're much younger, and you're a fan of Oasis and you want to see everything they do, I don't.
But you do have quite a passion for film.
Yes.
Last time we met, you were on a roll watching movies. You were.
Yeah, I still am.
You still. What are you watching nowadays?
Oh, now last night I watched the final episode of here on 746 Film and Arts. No, Unforgiven. It's a British detective television series. The writing is incredible. And they show 2 episodes at the same time, so it's like emotionally and it's just, the writing is about the deviation of people and the perversion of people and the arrogance of people and how they kill other people.
What's your take on Brexit? Do you...
Interesting. I was in London 3 weeks ago. And I went, what do you mean, leave Europe? This is Europe. I mean, I walked from my hotel across Green Park, I go by Buckingham Palace, I do not hear English. I'm not complaining, because you have to remember that, okay, England, Portugal, Mel Gibson, Scotland, okay, raped and pillaged all these countries in Africa and India 300-400 years ago. The people who got the slaves and raped and took the minerals from all these countries. Francis Drake outside of Cartagena, waiting for the Spanish to finish. They didn't think about the people. They just took the gold, they took whatever there was. And so 200 or 300 years later, the people come from those countries to England
And pillage.
and France, and no, they're looking for a better life, because there is no life in the countries that they live in. So the people in England who haven't learned history do not understand that this is karma for their grandparents, for the slave traders, for the people who stole the gold and the... I don't live in England, it's not my problem.
No.
But so what happens is... Anyway, they do a lot of the work that the English do not want to do, okay? I had my hair cut in London. Great place. It's old, okay? It's been there longer than me, okay?
Okay.
But George Trumper, it's called. It's in Mayfair, no? Working there are two Colombian boys. They're not cutting the hair, thank God. But they're working there. They're from Medellin, no? Mm. And I had such admiration for them, because it's no different than me when I was 19 or 20, getting to the right place. They could have been, they got in a place that they will learn about life. They may be sweeping the floor, making the coffee, whatever they're doing, but they got a job in a great place. The part of me that lives in Colombia was very proud of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
But what are they exactly up to?
Cleaning.
Just
Cleaning, doing things, doing errands, but they're working in a great place. When I got my first job when I was 16 in a fashion place, the important thing was that the teacups were not mugs. They were teacups and they were thin. The carpets were thick and the biscuits were thin. I was working in a night, this is good. If you're only going to get £7 a week, better be somewhere comfortable and where you will get an education from bright people.
Are you doing radio?
No, I stopped.
Yeah? Why?
No. There was a little thing in America called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I do not believe in those kind of honors. So the person with very good intentions, the guitarist for Bruce Springsteen, Stephen Van Zandt, got me into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I said, but I've been telling you for 10 years, I don't want to do it. I just don't. It was okay. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was good when it was a private party. But now it's just a Tom Hanks television show.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Was that done with Jan Wenner?
Yeah.
Both Stephen and Jan Wenner? Are they did they partner to get the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No.
Going?
It was originally, Irma Erdogan,
okay.
Jan Wenner, Bob Krasnow, Seymour Stein, and some other people. Stephen was second floor.
So you don't look into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's inductees every year?
Pardon?
You don't really have an interest for finding out who the new inductees are?
No. It's a joke.
Yeah.
It has to be a joke. Maybe a lot of the people have good intentions working, but if you're doing it for television, and they wanted me inducted with Brian Epstein, And I said, I don't want to be inducted with a dead gay Jew. I don't see anything positive about that. And then they wanted the person who was going to, Brian wouldn't mind. He'd understand. He said, I understand completely, Andrew. I'm dead, I was gay, and I was a Jew at the wrong time in England. Okay? They wanted they insisted the person who would induct me was half of Peter and Gordon. Oh, no, please. Okay? And then when I said to them, okay, when it comes to the music of the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, who are you going to have play it? And they said, don't worry, there will be no music. And I went, okay, now I know. We'll be like the accountants at the beginning of the Academy Awards.
The PricewaterhouseCoopers guys.
Exactly. So I said, no, thank you.
I think that was a wise decision.
Yeah. I'm in it. I'm on their T-shirts and things like that. But no. When it was a private party, and everybody, now it's in the politics of which group members. And by the way, they only give you 2 tickets. You want to bring your family, it's $2,500 a seat.
That's a lot of dough.
That's a lot of money. My ego is not that bad. Okay.
That's a lot of dough.
A lot of money.
Yeah. Do you regret anything?
No. Come on. I have a good friend who says, people who don't have regrets are idiots. I'd rather be an idiot. My life is incredible every day, as long as I let it be incredible. And when you get to the age where if, like Brian Jones, and you're dead because you thought it was me, it was one of the reasons he's dead, right? Apart from the 27 Club with Amy Winehouse, with this one and that one and so and so. And then the 56 Club, George Harrison, Steve Jobs. Okay?
I wonder why that happens.
It's a thing called, if you believe it, or go, okay, Saturno Regreso, the return of Saturn. And it hits the ages of 26 to 28, then 56, 58, then 83, and after that you're dancing, But the body gets tired. How many children could Brian Jones have? Tom Petty was a little older, but I liked Tom Petty, and I spent time with him about 5 months before he died.
How was he doing?
Not good. He came to drugs. Obviously he'd been around drugs. Otherwise, he's in music, But he came to heavy drugs in his middle age, the same as Prince.
Wow.
And
you mean like hard drugs?
yes.
Okay. Opioids and stuff?
Everything, yeah. America. I have a dentist friend in Nashville who, when he tells me how long it takes to get the anesthetics to work because of the drugs the Americans already have in their bodies.
That's crazy.
No wonder ISIS thinks it's easy. Okay? Right?
Tom Petty, when you met Tom Petty, was that the first time?
I was doing his radio show.
Oh, okay.
So you be careful.
I love Tom Petty.
He's great.
I was a big
fabulous.
fan of
Me,
Tom
a big
Petty's.
fan too. Big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love...
Because there was a part of him too that was very Anglophile. There was an English element, because his first manager was an English guy who was born in Buenos Aires called Denny Cordell,
I didn't know
who
that.
had Shelter Records with Leon Russell. But Tom Petty was tired, and he wasn't fit. Okay, we've now reached the age where if a performer is only fit on stage, he's in trouble. You know, you've got it. There has to be another part of life that you know that you can't go from 100% to 0. There's got to be a balance of I walk, I play with my grandchildren. I mean, I'm not saying you have to be Rafael Nadal or whatever his name is, the tennis player from
Nadal.
Yeah, Nadal. Thank you.
So when you met Tom Petty, how'd you realize? Did he say something about that? Did he mention?
He kept leaving the room.
How old was Tom Petty? Was he like 70?
No. He was. I mean,
he was younger.
He was younger than that. I mean, I don't know, 61, 65. What? But he wasn't. When we were socializing in the room, he was tired. The moment he came to me like this, like we're talking, then he was Tom Petty. But that's not good enough, you know? And he told me stories, you know, because he knew with George Harrison and the Traveling Wilburys, and I liked him very much, but he shouldn't have been allowed to tour. He had things, you know, I've had leg operations. He needed operations on his legs. But so he was in so much pain that he was taking so much drugs. It's no different than Prince.
That happened to him too.
Prince was like, I mean, if you take away the hair, the talent, the guitar, the high heels, for most of his life he was into Jesus and pussy. Okay?
Pretty much.
Right? That's okay. Right? You know, God save you. You know, like, okay? Not unlike the Colombians with trucks, that instead of going to engineers, they have a crucifix on the front and think that'll save them. Well, Prince, look, I have a long history with drugs, okay? I mean, not now, but I did. So you see, and what I say is, if you take away the hair, the talent, so he was just another middle-aged businessman who got hooked on drugs. The big clue for me was they found him in and I only tell these stories not because I want to be with the Kardashians, but because somebody might be listening whom it might help as well.
Cool, yeah,
you know,
of course.
You know, because doctors don't mind getting you addicted. So if he had 2 hip replacements, Prince, which he did.
That's crazy, 2 hip replacements.
Well, look at the dancing, man. You know, once he hit his 50s, you don't dance for nothing. There's a cost if you are not taking care of yourself. You know, if you're not Mick Jagger, okay?
How does he pull it off?
Well, I'll finish with Prince, and then I'll go to Mick Jagger,
cool.
Okay? The trip in terms of, okay, I always say first you take the drugs, and then they take you. You don't have to be a drug addict or an alcoholic, just a normal range of life, especially now that food is not food. Your body is generally weaker, right? Unless you compensate. And Prince, this is the bottom line. He was in the elevator when they found him, and he had the drugs in his pocket. Now, if you can't go from one part of your house to another without carrying the drugs in your pocket, you got a problem.
A serious one.
Yeah, and I remember the problem. I had the same problem.
Was it addiction?
Yeah. Oh, I'm an alcoholic, a drug addict, and a shopaholic.
Do you get over all 3 of them? Do you?
Oh, shopping is still a problem.
Yeah.
I've now got a new one. I'm not shopping for 2 years, you know, because nobody realizes how severe that is, you know. But anyway, yes, because I don't want to die. What a disgusting legacy, and I have a family. I have a family that gave me, you know, I spent half the year here, and Colombia is very, very good to me.
Yeah.
I would not, if I'd stayed in England, I might not be alive. I might have joined Pete Doherty. You see, he just got arrested in Paris.
He got arrested, and he left, and he got arrested again.
Yeah. You know, and he has been very bad for a lot of people.
But that's crazy because you saying that Britain, Colombia kind of saves your life.
Yes.
And it's crazy
Because when I got here, my wife was more famous than me. And the Rolling Stones, Genesis, everybody sold 10,000 records. Mariah, the only records that didn't, Julio Iglesias in Mexico and the Bee Gees, they sold 100,000. Everybody else sold 10,000, 15,000 top weight, right?
Still happens that way.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore because...
I mean, in that time, like 75.
When did you decide that you didn't want to tamper your legacy or taint your legacy? Because there has to be a moment in an addict's life.
There is. Yeah.
It's what they call a moment of clarity or something.
I'm glad we're calling it clarity. It was terrifying. Okay, I'd been out. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. I was coming in New York. Where else? I was coming back to my hotel, and I saw this big horse on 44th Street coming from another hotel into my hotel. The only problem was that the horse was 10 stories big, and it was opaque, and I could see through the horse all the way down to 10th Avenue.
Oh, man. What were you on?
I was on everything. Not all at the same time, although I would not be here, but I was rotating my excesses in a way that was catching up with me. And so I got into my hotel room, which was ironically, I made sure I always had the rooms that James Dean stayed in. That's how black my sense of humor was. I mean, he lived there, right. And I called my wife, Esther, and I said, got a big problem. Like, I think there are animals in the hall, but I know when I look under the door that they're out in the hall. But when I open the door, they're not there. And she said, it's the same here in Bogota. But there is a big difference. And we decided to stop then. And I went to a place to stop. And she just stopped because during my times here in Colombia, I was told a great expression. Forgive me, Esther, for telling this story, but it's for the good of people, okay? It's service. And the expression that this Colombian Indian told me, I said to him one day, can I be Indian? And he said, no. He was big in that business, no? And he said, no, you can be Colombian, Andrew, but you can't be Indian. And I said, okay, I'll be Colombian, no? He said, because cocaine is for the preservation of the red man and revenge on the pink man. And you are pink.
Oh, wow.
Took me a while for the lesson to come home, but I always knew one day I would have to pay attention to that fact. And also, apart from all the damages one of the main damages that people forget about with cocaine is that if without cocaine you can have 4 drinks, with cocaine you can have 8 or 9. And adios el hígado, no?
Claro.
Yeah.
See, it destroys everything that comes its way.
Especially the pink man.
Yeah. The pink man and the land. I mean, look at us.
See.
The country is in pretty bad shape.
Yeah.
But now that
but it's only supply and demand.
Yeah.
If you get a lot of stupid white people who still want to take it, that's their business, okay?
Do you believe in legalization?
No.
That's pretty interesting.
Because about 5 years ago, I was with somebody in Los Angeles, and they had legal marijuana, medical marijuana. And it's not marijuana de los hermanos y todo paz y amor y todo esto. No, man, it's a drug.
Yeah, that one is...
It's a drug. And I said, because I knew that it was safe, I said, let me have a thing. I said, you drive on this?
People actually do.
Yeah.
I don't know how they
Okay.
do it.
So no, I'm not for. I don't know what the answer is. I think the answer is that God, if parents. You see, we've now dealt with 2 generations where the children had excessive parents. It doesn't matter what class, what barrio they're from. But the parents took drugs. That cuts off communication. Now you have the biggest sinner of communication, the cell phone. Put the cell phone down, and how lonely are you? I know. I go to a meditation group in Vancouver, and the guy is a children's psychiatrist, and he said, if a cell phone is on the desk between me and the patient that he's being the therapist to, 40% of their attention is gone.
Immediately.
Immediately, yeah. The other killing thing for the children that are around us now is the lack of sports in schools.
And they're going to disappear, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they nearly have, right? I mean, sports...
Because video games, it's like...
Yeah, but clear body, and this is from Scientology, like the expression, so I don't want to steal it. I don't want to be John and Paul. No, but but clear body, clear mind. Sports keeps the mental spirit up. I was very blessed when I was in school in England. Sports, army, discipline, competition. But not competition, can I look like a Kardashian?
No, competition in the sport, in the sporting sense.
Exactly.
Now that you mentioned...
Well, then we go back to, sorry to interrupt you, but you asked me about Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
You have to, if you go on YouTube, and instead of going Mick Jagger, you go Mike Jagger, and go put in, say, 10 years old, gym class with father. His father was a physical trainer. And when Mick was 10, he used to appear on television with the father at like 3 or 4 o'clock 5 o'clock, because television didn't start then until 5 o'clock.
Till 5 p.m.,
And
yeah.
the first programs were for children. And Mick's father, Joe, had a 25-minute, because nothing those days was longer than 25 minutes, including concerts, okay? And he would say, now young Mike will climb up the rocks for you and show you how to go up the rocks. He was 10 or 11. You know, what you learn at that age stays with you.
Yeah, you never forget.
You never forget, and you know. So that is, it's not a secret, but that's one of the realities in his life that helps make him who he is.
Now that you mentioned the Kardashians,
Yeah.
what's your take on Kanye West? What do you think?
I don't.
You don't?
What should I think about? He's nuts. I mean, what is there to think about?
I don't know about his music, is what I'm asking.
Well, to me, it's not music.
No, it isn't.
I like the one where they borrow from real songs.
Well, it's kind of like, the essence of hip hop, isn't
But
it?
I'm not even going to pretend to be interested.
What's your take on Stormzy and hip hop headlining Glastonbury?
What does Stormzy look like?
He's huge.
Big white guy?
No.
Oh no, that one. I don't like him. I didn't. Oh, I saw them with the
Stormzy is
bed.
the big black
There was
guy.
the big thing with the bed and the car.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Okay, I don't get it. There is. You will probably be able to tell me his name. There is one English white guy. He's big. He won a lot of awards last year.
Rag and Bone Man?
Yeah, he's fabulous. Because there is the essence of song and structure that I can understand in there.
What about Ed Sheeran?
Well, he's every generation has its freaks, and that's a compliment.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Michael Jackson was a freak. What you do puts you above everybody else who is doing it. I went to see 2 years ago here Justin Bieber. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the first thing is he's selling 3 tickets. Child, mother, and father. How bad is that? Okay?
Not bad at all.
Okay? I'm glad I went. I was curious because, are we wrapping up?
Yeah, we're wrapping up. Yeah.
Okay. Because I knew what his secret was the moment I heard him speak to the audience. He had the same gift as Elvis, the same gift as Frank Sinatra, the same gift as Bruce Springsteen. And you can't teach somebody that. That is a God-given talent.
Thank you for being here. It's great to see you again. And
It's good to see you again, too.
It's great to see you in great shape. You got to.
And what form of media will we be able to do this again in another 10 years? What will be invented?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's probably going to be like in the ether or something.
Exactly.
Hey, nice seeing you again.
Thank you. Okay? And
Muchas
thank you,
gracias.
Colombia.